Hey guys, it's Comic Studios here, and quite frankly, I really wasn't expecting to be making a video so soon after that teaser was posted earlier today. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I recommend checking out that video first. Great Adventure posted teaser number 5 on their Twitter account, and this teaser was definitely the most exciting one. It had a lot of revealing information, there was a lot of numbers and adding, and all of these numbers we were able to kind of match up with having something to do with the coaster. Though there was one number we really couldn't figure out, and that was the number 436. Though I do want to give a huge shout out to L2 Orion for mentioning this on his Twitter, and after talking with a few people, it's kind of looking like we may have cracked the code on what Great Adventure's new coaster can be and why it might be that. So 436, like I said, was the number we couldn't figure out. There was another number being 587, which is the sum of all the add-ins that I didn't know what it was at first, but after doing some thinking and seeing what other people said, it's likely revealing the announcement date of the ride. 587 hours from when that post was created is September 4th, which is Labor Day, and it's a really good time to announce a new ride because then you can tie it together with Labor Day pass sales and all that, so that definitely makes sense. But like I said, 436 we couldn't figure out, though when you look at Vekoma's website and you look at their Super Boomerang model, it's a brand new model, there's only one that's been installed so far. The track length of the Vekoma Super Boomerang is that number, 436 meters. Now of course it could just be coincidence, but the coincidences don't stop there. 48 I predicted as being the height requirement for the new attraction, and I'm not sure about this model in particular, but every Vekoma I've ridden that has their vest restraints, which is the same restraints used on this coaster, has a height requirement of 48 inches. I checked the height requirement for Phoenix at Faroop Summerland, which is another Vekoma coaster. I believe that one's a Wildcat, and its height requirement is 120 centimeters, which is around 47.2 inches, so round up, 48 inches is probably what they would make the height requirement over here in the States. Now, like I said, there's not only that one coincidence or that second coincidence, there's a third one. 24, I originally said likely is for 2024, though it could also be for riders per train. And lo and behold, the Vekoma Super Boomerang holds 24 riders per train. There are 6 cars that each hold 4 riders, so do the math, 24 riders per train. The number 4 I predicted is having to do with the number of the ride's inversions, and when you take a look at the Vekoma Super Boomerang, it has 2 inversions, and considering the fact that you go forwards and backwards through the layout, that is a total of 4 inversions. The only number that I really can't find a way to match with this attraction is the number 10. Technically, you could say it's 10 elements depending on the way you want to count it, though I think that's probably a bit too convoluted to put in here. It could be 10 airtime moments, but again, I don't really think this has 10 airtime moments depending on the way you want to look at the attraction. I'm sure majority of the people watching this video, if not all of us, have not ridden the Vekoma Super Boomerang, so I'm not sure that we can accurately say where the airtime moments are. But after I took a look at all this and really thought long and hard about if this would make sense at Great Adventure, I also took a look at the dimensions of the ride and decided to go into Google Earth to see how it would fit at the park. So now that we're here in Google Earth, you can see this box right here. That is the approximate dimensions of a Vekoma Super Boomerang. Obviously, this may not be the exact spot in which it's placed, at least the way it's oriented. I just kind of did this as a quick test. It's very possible that this box right here, which would be the coaster layout, could be shifted over so that it comes closer to the catering area. But then again, you also have the issue of Cyborg being right here. I was trying to go around Cyborg, but then I kind of wound up going over the entrance. So I don't think this is going to go over the entrance since it is a straight line layout. It'll probably run parallel to the park's entrance because there's not really much of a reason to make it go over here if it doesn't have to. Though, you never know, they could do that as well. But when looking at the places we've seen markers and we've seen the soil being tested, we've seen it here, and markers back here as well, plus the marker over here. So I think this whole area right here will definitely be the workspace for this attraction. And I'm still holding out hope that Cyborg isn't going to be removed. I don't think it will. It's not too difficult to be able to build around the ride, and you can always modify the queue if need be, but I don't think it should be an issue for this ride to be able to go over Cyborg. I think they should definitely be able to pull that off. So as you saw there, it can definitely fit as shown by Google Earth, but I've also been able to find out that the core samples that we saw being done not too long ago with that giant machine just testing the soil to see how eligible it is for an attraction has been done in a straight line. First, we saw it being done just beyond the fence near Justice League, just behind the fence you can see right here. Then, not too long after, it was spotted in the Arboretum. So that tells me that the coaster is going to continue down that straight path, going towards the entrance, but not actually going over the entrance, running parallel where the picnic area currently is. And quite honestly, I've kind of seen the picnic area not really being needed for a while now. It doesn't really get used all too often. They'll typically just send the large groups to the catering area, and there's plenty of pavilions back there for catering, as we were able to see during Thrillathon and on past occasions. So the picnic area really isn't really used all that often. The last time it was used that I can think of was for Merry Marketplace and Holiday in the Park, and since then they have gotten rid of that whole area being used during Holiday in the Park. It was also used during the drive-through Holiday in the Park, but again, that is no longer at the park. So there's not really a reason to keep that around. It's very, very rarely used, and it's in a really good spot, prime real estate to add a new attraction or just to fill the space. So definitely no issues in terms of where the coaster would have its layout. Now let's talk about theming. Now, a lot of people have been wondering what the theme would be for this ride. I've kind of been holding out hope that it wouldn't be DC themed. I'm personally just not a big fan of DC themes at parks. However, given that this ride is probably going to have its station in Metropolis, I think it's safe to assume that it will be a DC theme, but I think there's a really, really cool route they could go with this. Looking at the Super Boomerang, it probably reminds you of a ride that used to be in this exact same spot. That is Batman and Robin the Chiller. I think it is very possible that we could see this ride themed to the Chiller, and they could incorporate a Mr. Freeze type theme into the attraction. I think this would work really, really well, as, well, yes, it's not technically in Movie Town, which is also pretty much Gotham City. It's in Metropolis, but at this point, that whole area of the park is more or less DC Universe, so I don't think it would matter that much anyways, and to see the Chiller reincarnated, I think would definitely go along with the park's theme of bringing back history from the park for the 50th anniversary. I think that would be a really, really great move. It would make a lot of longtime Great Adventure fans happy. Personally, I've always wanted to see the Chiller reincarnated. I always figured they would do it in the form of a ride like West Coast Razors at Six Flags Magic Mountain, but if the Boomerang is true, and we could be seeing the Super Boomerang, I think this would definitely be the best route to go in terms of bringing back Batman and Robin the Chiller. But there is one pretty significant issue with the park possibly getting a Vekoma Super Boomerang, and that is the capacity. The only model that has been sold so far only runs one train, which obviously, of course, is a shuttle coaster. But there are numerous shuttle coasters out there that have incorporated a turntable system, which allows them to have much higher capacity. We haven't seen this done quite yet on a Vekoma Super Boomerang, but I'm really hoping that if Six Flags did purchase one of these attractions from Vekoma for Great Adventure, that they were able to squeeze in a turntable. I doubt it's very difficult to engineer that. You're pretty much just taking a slice of track out and adding a turntable function. I believe Vekoma has done turntables on past attractions, or at least switch tracks, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But I do think that if this ride does only have one train, it could definitely be a big capacity issue. Vekoma advertises this model as being able to accommodate 800 riders per hour, which could definitely be possible, but with the operational delays that come along with a ride like this, along with the fact that people aren't always going to move fast enough in order for those theoretical throughputs to be reached, I don't think I can say for certain that the capacity would be 800. 800 definitely is not bad, but for a park like Great Adventure, where you have super coasters like Nitro, King Ka, Toro, Devil, that just pump people out, I definitely think they would need a higher throughput, especially for a ride that would probably get a lot of visitation due to the fact that it's located right by the front entrance. Everyone would see it when coming in, so I hope they're able to incorporate a turntable, but even if they don't, I'm sure that the ride would be a huge success. You look at rides like Tigris and Tempesto at the Busch Gardens parks, which are huge, massive traffic parks, and their lines are typically fairly manageable on those attractions, though they aren't as grand in scale as something like this. But I want to know what you guys think about the possibility of Great Adventure getting a Super Boomerang. Again, shout out to El Toro Ryan for cracking the code on his Twitter, and shout out to all my friends, of course, for discussing this with me ever since the teasers came out. This is a really, really exciting time for Great Adventure, probably just as exciting, if not more exciting, than when the rumors were flying around about Jersey Devil back in 2019. So I'm really, really excited to see what the announcement winds up being for Great Adventure. I want to know from you guys what you think about the whole teaser campaign, what you think the ride will be. Definitely let me know down in the comments. But with that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Great Adventure 2024 updates coming soon. Goodbye, guys.